Imagine surviving the asteroid impact that literally wiped out the T-Rex.
Right, just casually outliving the Ice Age.
Exactly. You navigate the shifting of the Earth's tectonic plates. You adapt to millions of years of oceanic transformations. I mean, you are the ultimate biological
Which
survivor.
really makes the current reality so incredibly jarring.
Yes. Because after all of that, you get pushed to the brink of extinction by like a floating plastic grocery bag.
It's tragic, honestly.
It really is. Well, welcome to today's deep dive. We are super thrilled to have you with us today.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Today, we are looking at this incredible stack of research anchored by the Marine Holidays and Events brief from Red Sea Creatures, and our focus is Sea Turtle Week.
A fantastic topic.
But our mission today isn't just to talk about, how magnificent these animals are, although they are.
Oh, absolutely.
We are really looking at how a highly coordinated global movement is, well, weaponizing human empathy and digital strategy to save creatures that literally outlived the dinosaurs.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because we aren't just looking at a simple, everyday awareness campaign here. We're looking at a masterclass in behavioral psychology and biological conservation.
That's exactly the right lens for this because when you're dealing with conservation on a planetary scale, the sheer scope of the problem is your biggest enemy.
Right, it's just too big to grasp.
Exactly. So to understand how Sea Turtle Week tackles this, you really have to look at the intentionality of its design, starting with its timeline.
Which is super specific.
Right. So the organization Sea Turtles launched this initiative back in 2011, and they didn't just pick, a random week in the middle of the summer. They built it to run precisely from June 8th to June 16th.
Right, and those specific dates are doing a lot of heavy lifting. Like June 8th is World Ocean Day,
Yes.
and then it concludes on June 16th, which is World Sea Turtle Day. But I have to ask, is there really a strategic genius to just, like, putting two marine-themed days next to each other on a calendar? I mean, it seems like pretty standard scheduling to me.
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, the brilliance here is all about momentum. It's about attention drafting.
Drafting, like in racing.
Exactly like that. Think about how in professional cycling or auto racing, a competitor will tuck in right behind the leader to catch their slipstream.
Oh, sure, to reduce drag.
Right. By doing that, they save an enormous amount of energy while maintaining top speed. And that is exactly what Sea Turtles is doing with World Ocean Day.
Okay, I see what you mean. World Ocean Day already has the media, the governments, and, like, millions of individuals looking at marine health.
It's a massive slipstream.
So they just tuck right in behind it.
Precisely. They aren't trying to generate global momentum from a dead stop. They capture an audience that is already looking at the water.
That is clever.
And then, over the course of 8 days, they seamlessly funnel that broad, generalized goodwill for the entire ocean into a highly focused campaign specifically about sea turtles.
Right. And then the finish line of that campaign, June 16th, is actually deeply significant in the scientific community too, right?
Yes, very much so. June 16th honors the birthday of Dr. Archie Carr.
Now, for those who might not know the history of marine biology, Archie Carr was essentially the foundational figure in sea turtle conservation.
He really was. I mean, before him, we knew shockingly little about these animals.
He completely revolutionized our understanding, didn't he?
Oh, entirely. Back in the mid-20th century, sea turtles were largely a mystery once they left the nesting beaches. People just didn't know where they went.
They just vanished into the ocean.
Right. But Carr was one of the first scientists to extensively tag them and actually study their migratory patterns. And what he discovered was that these creatures were undertaking migrations across entire ocean basins.
Swimming thousands of miles between their feeding grounds and their nesting beaches.
Exactly.
Which brings up one of the most honestly mind-bending biological mechanisms in nature. Because it's not just that they swim thousands of miles, it's how they navigate.
Oh, it's like, they don't just wander around until they find a nice-looking beach. They return to the exact same stretch of coastline where they were born decades later.
It's an astonishing feat of navigation. And we now know that they achieve this through something called magnetoception.
Magnetoception. So they essentially have an internal GPS.
Pretty much. They have an internal system that reads the Earth's magnetic field.
Let's drill down into that because it's not just a standard compass pointing north, right? It's way more complex than that.
Oh, much more. So the Earth's magnetic field intersects the surface of the planet at different angles. And the intensity of that field actually varies depending on where you are.
Okay.
Sea turtles can detect both of those things. the angle of inclination, and the intensity of the magnetic field.
Wow. So they get a grid system.
Exactly. It gives them a bicoordinate magnetic map. So when a tiny hatchling crawls out of the sand and enters the ocean for the first time, it essentially takes a magnetic snapshot of that exact location.
Like dropping a pin on a digital map. Exactly like dropping a pin, and then decades later, as a massive adult weighing hundreds of pounds, it uses that exact magnetic signature to navigate across thousands of miles of featureless ocean to return home.
It is genuinely awe-inspiring. I mean, you have this creature possessing an internal biological technology that rivals our most advanced satellite arrays.
It really does.
But here's the tragic irony, right?
Yeah.
And really the reason Sea Turtle Week even exists. They possess this flawless navigation system. They survive the open ocean for decades. They finally navigate back to their birth beach.
And the beach is gone.
Exactly. Or it's covered in resorts. Or it's suffocated by plastic.
And that is the stark reality that this campaign has to communicate. I mean, despite millions of years of evolutionary success, all 7 species of sea turtles are currently threatened or endangered.
All 7. The green, the hawksbill, loggerhead, leatherback, olive ridley, Kemp's ridley, and the flatback.
Yeah, every single one.
The brief we got from Red Sea Creatures lists the major systemic threats. It's plastic pollution, climate change, severe habitat loss, and illegal trade.
A very heavy list.
Very heavy. Now, if you drop all of that on the public at once, you hit a psychological wall. If you just tell someone, hey, the oceans are acidifying, the beaches are disappearing, and poachers are wiping out the population, the natural human response is just paralysis.
Oh, totally. It induces a phenomenon known as compassion fatigue.
Compassion fatigue.
Yeah. The problem just feels so overwhelmingly large that people tune it out, simply to protect their own mental health.
Right. And here's where it gets really interesting, because the structure of Sea Turtle Week is designed specifically to hack that psychological response.
Yes, it is.
They don't give you the massive data dump of doom. Instead, they structure the event as a quote-unquote week-long journey of discovery.
Right.
Each day spotlights a single different species and pairs it with one specific issue.
What's fascinating here is how this daily drip feed subverts that information overload.
Yeah.
You're breaking the existential dread of global ocean collapse into these bite-sized species-specific narratives.
Making it digestible.
Exactly. It gives the public permission to connect deeply without feeling utterly crushed.
But let's play devil's advocate for just a second here. If you only talk about, say, the hawksbill turtle on a Tuesday, and you only talk about the leatherback on a Wednesday, don't you risk fragmenting the message?
How do you mean?
Well, how does isolating these species actually translate to an understanding of the broader ecosystem? Are we missing the forest for the trees?
That's a fair question, but the genius of it is that the specific biology of each species perfectly illustrates a different facet of the systemic threats.
Okay, give me an example.
Let's look at the olive ridley turtle. When Sea Turtle Week highlights the olive ridley, they aren't just showing pictures of a cute turtle. They are talking about one of nature's most spectacular phenomena, which is the arrabata.
The arrabatas. I am so glad you brought this up. For anyone who hasn't seen footage of this, arrabata is Spanish for arrival by sea. Explain what actually happens during these events.
So an arrabata is a synchronized mass nesting event. Instead of just a single female coming ashore at night alone to lay her eggs, hundreds of thousands of olive ridley turtles will simultaneously converge on a single stretch of beach over just a few days.
Hundreds of thousands.
Yeah.
At the exact same time.
Yes. It is a sheer biological spectacle. They essentially cover every single square inch of the sand. You can barely see the beach.
And what is the evolutionary logic behind that? I mean, why put all your eggs in one basket? Quite literally.
It's a survival strategy called predator satiation.
Satiation. So making them full.
Exactly. By emerging all at once and laying millions of eggs simultaneously, they completely overwhelm the local predators.
Like the raccoons and the birds.
Right. The raccoons, birds, crabs, they all eat as much as they possibly can, but they get full. There are simply too many eggs and hatchlings for the predators to consume them all.
So it guarantees that a significant percentage will survive.
Exactly. It's a brilliant numbers game. But this brings us to the specific threat we were talking about. If you have a species that relies entirely on mass synchronization at very specific geographic locations, what happens when human development builds a seawall on that exact beach? Or artificial lighting disorients them?
Oh, wow. The entire evolutionary strategy just collapses.
Exactly. You don't just lose a few turtles, you disrupt a reproductive cycle that hundreds of thousands of animals depend on.
That is devastating.
It is. So by focusing on the Arabata, the campaign isn't just saying vaguely habitat loss is bad. It is showing you exactly why altering a single beach can decimate an entire global population.
That makes perfect sense. You use the biological wonder to explain the mechanical threat.
Precisely.
And we see this again when we talk about plastic pollution. I mean,
Yeah.
we all know the classic tragic image, a sea turtle mistaking a floating plastic grocery bag for a jellyfish.
Right, which is particularly lethal for the leatherback turtle. They're the largest of all sea turtles, and they rely almost entirely on jellyfish for their diet.
But what I really appreciate about the Sea Turtles campaign is that they don't just treat the audience like children. They acknowledge the plastic bag choking issue, sure, but they elevate the conversation to the systemic level.
They really do.
Because plastic isn't just a choking hazard. It is actually altering the thermodynamic properties of the beaches.
And this is perhaps one of the most insidious threats they face. It perfectly illustrates the intersection of plastic pollution and climate change. It all comes down to a biological mechanism called temperature-dependent sex determination, or TSD.
This is mind-blowing. Let's break this down for the listener because, well, for humans and most mammals, sex is determined by chromosomes.
Right.
But for sea turtles, it is entirely dictated by the temperature of the sand where the eggs are incubating.
Precisely. There is a saying among sea turtle biologists: hot girls, cool guys.
Hot girls, cool guys.
Yeah.
I love that.
It makes it easy to remember. If the sand temperature around the nest is above roughly 29.3 degrees Celsius, so that's about 85 degrees Fahrenheit, the hatchlings will be female. If the sand is cooler than that, they will be male.
So we have global climate change raising ambient temperatures everywhere, which naturally heats up the beaches. But how does plastic factor into the actual temperature of the sand?
Well, when plastic breaks down into microplastics, it mixes directly into the sand. And plastic is a fantastic insulator.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it fundamentally changes the thermal conductivity of the beach. A beach that is heavily polluted with microplastics will absorb and retain heat much more efficiently than pristine sand.
So the plastic is actually baking the nests.
Yes. Between the rising global temperatures and the insulating effect of microplastics, we are seeing nesting beaches around the world turning so hot that they're producing populations that are 99% female.
99%.
And in some cases, the nests just get so hot that the eggs simply cook and don't hatch at all.
So you don't just lose habitat. You biologically break their ability to reproduce. I mean, if there are no males, the species functionally goes extinct, even if the adults are out there swimming around looking completely healthy.
Exactly.
That takes the conversation way beyond, don't use plastic straws. It highlights a massive cascading ecosystem failure.
And that is the power of the day-by-day approach of Sea Turtle Week. It walks you through these highly complex mechanisms, from the disrupted synchronization of the Arabatas to the thermal impact of microplastics on sex determination, without overwhelming you all at once.
Okay, so what does this all mean? We have this incredibly deep understanding of the biology and the threats, but awareness without action is really just trivia.
Right, it doesn't solve the problem.
Exactly. Now, the Red Sea Creatures Brief lists a ton of ways to get involved. Beach cleanups, educational events, virtual activities, photo contests, art challenges. But I want to push back here a little bit.
Okay.
Let's say you are listening to us right now, right? And you're from a landlocked area 1,000 miles away from the ocean. You draw a picture of a loggerhead turtle for an art challenge. You post it online. And you use the hashtag #SeaTurtleWeek.
Okay.
Is that actually doing anything? Or is that just like slacktivism?
Yeah.
A way to make ourselves feel good while illegal poaching syndicates continue to operate and massive corporations just keep dumping microplastics? Like, how does digital noise actually translate to real-world legislation or protection?
This raises an important question about the mechanics of modern activism. I mean, it is very easy to be cynical about hashtags. We all are sometimes.
Right.
But in the modern policy landscape, political will is driven by visible, quantifiable public interest.
Meaning, politicians only care if they think millions of voters care.
Exactly. When a campaign like Sea Turtle Week generates millions of specific hashtag-driven interactions over an 8-day period, it creates a massive aggregated data point.
Okay, I see.
It forces algorithms on major social platforms to push marine conservation into the feeds of people who wouldn't normally ever see it. But more importantly, it provides hard data to lobbying groups and conservation organizations.
Ah, So they have actual numbers to show.
Right. When they go to a corporate boardroom or a legislative assembly to demand changes in plastic production, they aren't just pleading. They are bringing data that proves a massive, highly engaged global constituency is demanding action.
It makes the invisible pressure visible.
Yes. And furthermore, that digital visibility drives direct funding. The awareness generated during this really concentrated week pushes massive amounts of microdonations to the organizations doing the actual field work.
So that funds the satellite tags, the beach patrols that deter the poachers, the legal teams fighting for habitat protection.
Exactly. And for those who are able to participate physically, like at a local beach cleanup, it connects directly back to the biology we were just
Oh,
discussing.
because of the sand temperature?
Right. When volunteers comb a beach and remove debris and plastics, they aren't just making the beach look pretty for tourists, they are literally removing the thermal insulators that are overheating the nests.
Wow.
They are directly lowering the temperature of the sand and ensuring a better balance of male and female hatchlings.
That's the beautiful synthesis of it, isn't it? You have hyperlocal physical actions that immediately impact the biological viability of a nest, operating in tandem with this massive digital campaign that pressures global policy.
Exactly. The individual actions scale up and the global awareness scales down.
It democratizes conservation.
Yeah.
Historically, saving a species was seen as the exclusive domain of the scientist in the field, like Dr. Archie Carr.
Right, you had to be an expert.
But this movement proves that you don't need a PhD in marine biology or a massive research grant to be a critical part of the solution.
Yeah.
Every action, whether it's pulling plastic out of the sand or participating in a digital art challenge that boosts an algorithm, it weaves into a net big enough to catch the attention of the people making the laws.
It transforms passive empathy into active systemic change. And honestly, it proves that the public is completely capable of grasping highly complex biological and ecological issues if they are communicated with respect and strategic clarity.
It really does. When we look back at the entire architecture of this event, it really is staggering. We've covered a lot of ground today, starting with the origins in 2011 and the strategic brilliance of drafting off World Ocean Day to lead right into the celebration of Dr. Archie Carr's legacy.
Yeah, and we've explored the incredible biology of these animals. From their magnetoception and internal GPS to the breathtaking synchronization of the aerobatas.
And we really dug into the harrowing systemic threats they face. Understanding how microplastics and climate change are fundamentally altering their biology through temperature-dependent sex determination.
Truly fascinating stuff.
But most importantly, we saw how a well-engineered week-long journey empowers everyday people to combat these massive threats through both physical action and digital advocacy.
It's a testament to what coordinated human effort can actually achieve.
It is. But it leaves us with a very profound reality to sit with. Sea turtles have been navigating the Earth's oceans for over 100 million years.
An unfathomable amount of time.
Right. They survived the shifting of tectonic plates, they survived ice ages, and they survived the asteroid that ended the era of the dinosaurs. They're the ultimate testament to biological resilience.
They have survived every planetary test thrown at them.
Until now. So the question we really have to ask ourselves is this. Will human behavior, our plastics, our pollution, our coastal development, be the one obstacle, the only force in 100 million years that they simply cannot swim past?
A very sobering but completely necessary question.
Or will the coordinated, empathetic power of initiatives like Sea Turtle Week finally teach us how to share the waters we both depend on? Something to mull over as you look at your calendar this week.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the incredible world of sea turtles and the global movement fighting to save them. Keep questioning the world around you, keep exploring the science, and don't be afraid to dive into your own research. We'll catch you next time.